can I simplify it like this? Can I cancel all those? No. Okay. Some of you will do that, even on the final. Try to avoid that mistake. It's a very common mistake. But remember, the first step in all of these is to factor completely. So in each of these cases, we're going to take the numerator and denominator of each fraction and factor it completely. So how can we factor this, the numerator of the first fraction? Forget it.
X minus 4 is x minus 3.
So those are the two last terms whose product is plus 12 and whose sum is negative 7. Okay, what about the denominator of the first fraction? What does that factor into? So, it's the sum and difference, it's the difference of squares, so it factors into the sum and difference of those terms that are being squared. Okay, again, we can keep this in fraction form. It's just an extension of the fraction. Are there any common factors you can remove from this numerator? Take out an x, leaving x squared minus 6x plus 9. And what does this factor into, the trinomial? X minus 3 quantity squared. It's the special factor form. And then finally in the denominator here, we can remove a common factor of x squared, and we're left with x minus 4. So that's all our first step. Factor everything completely. Once you factor it, now you can cancel common factors. So I'm just going to start from the top and move along the line. So x minus 4's cancel. X minus 3 cancels. This x cancels with one of these. X minus 3, there's nothing else for it to cancel with. So when I write my answer, multiply across the top, I have binomial factor x minus 3 squared left on top. In the denominator, write my monomial factor first, x, followed by my binomial factor. So here is my simplified fraction. The last step is to identify any domain restrictions that got canceled out through the simplifying process, not the ones that are still apparent. So look here, we have a canceled factor. So what can x not be? 3. Here we see x can't be 4. Here we got a factor canceled from the denominator, but did it completely cancel? No, there's still an x there. So we know that x can't be 0, but it's apparent in the simplified form. So when we write our restriction, our answer is just going to be x cannot be 3 and 4. Okay, again, when you guys take the quiz, I'll provide the x not equal to, and then just leave it as a field that you enter your answers from that. Well, because you can see that in the simplified form. I mean, it is also true. If I had asked you what's the domain of this problem, the domain would be all real numbers as long as x does not equal negative 3, this factor, 0, this factor, 3, this factor, and 4, this factor. So this would be your domain if that was the problem, what it was asking. But when I just ask you to simplify it, just identify the restrictions that don't show up in that simplified form.